Protect your car with 3W Liners all-weather floor mats. Made from durable materials like TPE and rubber, our mats are designed to withstand rain, snow, and mud with deep grooves to trap dirt and liquids. For a custom fit and advanced protection, visit 3W Liners. That's the number 3, WLINERS.com today. Are you ready to take control of your health? At 4U Health, we believe wellness and lab testing should be accessible, inclusive, and yes, fun. With our tech-powered at-home lab test, you save time and money while feeling your best. Say goodbye to long waits and office visits. Check your health on your own terms with 4U Health. Visit 4uhealth.com today and free yourself from traditional medicine. That's the number 4uhealth.com. This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
Welcome to the Astrology Table podcast.
Please take a seat.
I'm Rachel.
I'm Jordan.
I'm April.
And this is the Astrology Table podcast. Today we are talking a full moon lunar eclipse in Virgo that happens the 14th of March. But before we do that, let's talk about the previous new moon in Pisces and what it manifested for everyone. April, what happened for you?
Well, as I've been talking about for a while, I did a psychedelic retreat in Mexico.
Love.
Right before the new moon, basically led up to, I got back on the 25th. So, and the new moon was on the 27th of February.
Mm-hmm.
So everything like you can imagine from a Pisces new moon, I feel like I experienced in an amplified way. Thank you to plant medicine for heightening all experiences.
Complete spiritual renewal, it sounds like.
Complete spiritual renewal, new perspective on life, feeling deeply connected with my spirituality in a way that I haven't ever before. Healed deep childhood wounds, psychic awakenings, all of that. We were even talking earlier about just how everything is different. Everything is shifted.
Yeah. And then there's maybe like a newfound confidence in this like spiritual awakening too.
So much confidence.
Yeah.
It's like when you, it's not just, transformation, epiphanies, but it's like, I know that I know
Right.
certain things about myself. And that security in my inner knowing is, like I said, it's a before and after moment. I mean,
Yeah.
I've never had this level of security in my truth.
And it's like no one can take that empowerment away from you.
Absolutely
at this
not.
point.
No,
Yeah.
you couldn't if you know,
Yeah.
wild horses couldn't
Yes.
drag it away.
And Jordan, you also took a trip.
Yeah. So I didn't really take like a psychedelic retreat, maybe in a way. But yeah, it was a nice little Colorado trip. So got to experience the cold, maybe a little bit dark night of the soul kind of, because I hate the cold. And so this winter has been really hard for me. And so getting to be in the even colder cold, because it's pretty mild here in Texas. That was nice. It was a nice shift, a nice new perspective.
Cold hits different when there are mountains behind it.
Yes, the air is so clean and like crisp, and the snow is so pure and just beautiful and just like clean and like white, and just it's a lovely, lovely landscape. And so that was really nourishing for me in my meditative practices. So I actually have got more consistent with tarot again, like meditating, focusing on my art, like actually taking the time to focus on my art, not rushing anything, doing it with meaning and not just doing it because I feel like I have to do it. And so that was a really nice like renewal. Also strengthening like already established bonds, like with my partner, and also forming new friendships and connections with people that I was on the trip with. Coming back home to my friends, that was nice. I did miss home. It was nice to be away, but I did miss my home. And so coming back to Waco was just a really nice, like reconnecting with everybody, getting to see y'all again has been really great. Standing more strong in myself and like knowing who I am that spiritual knownness of like, I know who I am, and like other people might have perceptions of me, but knowing my truth and walking in that truth, no matter disregarding others' perspectives of me. And so
I think it's really cool too, right prior to recording this, and we are recording, of course, prior to the actual eclipse. So this falls under the new moon in Pisces syzygy. But we all just had a photo shoot together, y'all.
We
So look for some
did.
promo images to come out.
And that was like I feel like it was like a creative bond for us.
Yeah.
Lots of like creative freedom.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just really lax. Like, I really like that. Like, I like structure, but I also like
No
having,
pressure.
Yeah, I like having the freedom to kind of just express ourselves and
To play with your tarot deck on camera.
Yes, like I never thought I'd be able to say that.
Well,
And
and
we
both of you are such models, so it makes it easy.
And you are too.
Thank
All
you.
three of us. We're Charlie's Angels here.
So
So
I feel like this new moon, we can be kind of consistent and blanket and say that it got us in a spiritual
Yes.
It
frame
did,
of,
yeah.
of being, and perhaps upped the that sort of sensitive focus or that sort of spiritual focus
Yeah.
for everybody. Up leveled, spiritually up leveled.
yeah, that's good. That's a good way to describe it. I like that.
I began teaching weekly yoga classes again, and that's really exciting. April came to yoga with me as well at the
yes.
farmers market, which changed locations here in Waco. So kind of pre-eclipse big shifts for some institutions.
mm-hmm.
And as far as current events go, I mean, it's been more of the same craziness, but there was definitely a very public snafu with the leaders between the United States and Ukraine in the Oval Office, and there was some devolution, right? That meeting went sideways real quick.
Publicly
And-
sideways, which
Yes.
is usually they're so closed door you don't see.
Mhm.
And so there's that interesting aspect of it being hyper public in our face.
Yeah.
And there's a big, I think, question as well in the collective of what do you believe about that situation? Do you
Right.
believe that, Ukraine or Russia is responsible for the current situation? What do you think is the right thing to do? Europe and the United States are now kind of on separate sides
Mhm.
of the issue. And there were a lot of different things with the federal government. Of course, we've been talking about that since Trump's inauguration. He has come in with his Mars in Leo and just sort of bombastically upended a lot of things. But there was also the Oscars. There was a Kroger Albertsons CEOs stepping down. I think a lot of leadership changes have been taking place in this Mars retrograde in the luminaries timeframe. But I mean, the biggest thing that we're experiencing as we're recording this on the 21st floor of the Alico building in downtown Waco is literally, y'all, it looks like
a dust storm.
Yeah. We're in the
dust
middle of
bowl.
a dust storm. The
Yeah.
sun got blotted out because we've got like 40, 50, 60 mile an hour winds that literally will lift you off the ground.
Yeah.
And power's out all over the place. Luckily, not right here. And it looks like legitimately a haze.
Yeah.
Like you
And we
can't see
kind
the
of we
sun.
watched the haze roll in too as we were walking over here.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was brilliant sunshine, and now it's
Right.
dusty, and it looks like smog. Like
Yeah.
the smog overlay on top of like Los Angeles or Shanghai or
Yeah.
any of those other cities.
And that big shift, I think, is perfect
Yes.
to introduce a full moon lunar eclipse in
Woo!
Virgo. That particulate matter, that dust is
Mhm.
so Virgoan.
Yeah.
It's like mutable earth. It's just flying everywhere.
Flying around. Exactly.
Yeah.
You can't control me. Only I can control me.
So Virgo is our mutable earth sign ruled by Mercury, and that's the sixth sign in the zodiac represented by the Virgin, rules the digestive system, the intestines, and the gallbladder, so the gut brain. And this lunation has got some serious aspects. There's an opposition with Saturn at 22 Pisces and a trine with Uranus at 24 Taurus. The lunation happens at 23 Virgo. So we're equally, both those aspects are applying. But Saturn and Uranus, big stuff going on. What do you guys feel about that sort of? We've got an eclipse, and then
Mhm.
we've also got some outer planet activity, opposition, and a trine.
Yeah, I am really interested in this from an eclipse perspective. Eclipses are cosmic course correctors. So if something has been out of alignment, whether it's your body, mind, relationships, or work, the eclipse will highlight it, and it's a good time to reset because it's like whatever energy is in the lunation anyway, the eclipse will magnify it.
Mm.
And so it's a good opportunity to not miss something. Rachel likes to say that when she reads a chart, something important will be told to her more than once. This is like the equivalent of that. Something will be told to you more than once. If it's important for you to pay attention, you will hear it. So that's the beauty of eclipses, or one of the many beauties of eclipses. That supercharged energy will highlight exactly what you need to focus on.
And this is a South Node eclipse. So we are like draining, getting rid of, resetting, definitely refreshing and releasing. during this
Releasing.
eclipse.
It
Mhm.
almost feels like with these planetary shifts as well, like maybe like in tarot, like a tower moment,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Definitely.
Like, the tower is like seen as this like really scary, like foreboding card, but it's really not.
Mhm.
It just kind of, it forces you to look at the foundation that you're on, right? And realize how maybe unstable it might be and kind of move forward from there. How can you create a new foundation? And what tools are around you to create a new foundation?
And I think that foundation work is a great term for this because we've got Saturn
Mhm.
applying by opposition. We've got Uranus applying by trine. So there's some place in which we're getting a sort of like a hard no. And there's some place in which we're getting like a big shift. And when you're working with something at the foundation, if you get a big shift of something that has long-standing value import or that's been around for a long time, Saturn governs time, right? So a lot of well-established things are going to be absolutely crashing down, changing to your tower card moment. And I feel like they might be like sudden reversals.
Mhm.
Or even sudden roadblocks where you're like driving, looks good. And then you're like, wait, what is this wall across the
Right.
road? Like,
Yeah. Google Maps did not tell me this road was
hold on.
closed.
I take this road every day.
Yeah. And
Right.
a
Yeah.
complete detour.
A
Yeah.
complete detour. Absolutely. And I think also to your earlier point, there could be some dark night of the soul vibes here.
Mhm.
South Node doesn't feel like it feels like a trust fall you didn't want to take.
Yeah. You're
You
going
know?
to, regardless. I mean, your foundation broke and you're falling into a hole. It can feel like that, right?
Like those
Falling
rides where
into
you
the
get
darkness.
dropped.
Yeah. And you have to
Yeah.
trust the ride that you're safe.
Yes. Yeah. Trust the universe.
Yeah.
Will you trust the universe when your best laid plans are being upended?
Yeah. When you're raw and vulnerable, we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, the opposition, that's what is so interesting about this Saturn opposition. So Saturn is obviously like boundaries, it's
Mhm.
structure. I am seeing this play out already in so many ways, but it's like, okay, where are we feeling completely overwhelmed by emotional responsibilities, struggle balancing practical needs versus emotional needs? Usually, like, there's so much kind of that's going to be brought back up. It'll be an opportunity to say, where do I need structure? Where do I need to release structure? Where do I need to establish structure?
Ooh, yeah.
Because sometimes we need to ease up and sometimes we need to lock in.
Love that. And maybe shifting perspectives on control.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah. I also feel like this is the first eclipse in this series in Virgo. The nodes just changed signs in January. And we haven't had a Virgo eclipse. We had a baby Pisces eclipse last year. I think this could also be very surprising in terms of what shifts or what becomes obsolete. You know how technology can, like, all of a sudden you thought it was the newest tech and then something comes out and you're like, all right,
Yeah.
never mind. I don't need any of that anymore. Like
Like-
who needs this iPhone plug-in cord? I'm now using USB. Like,
Yeah, like literally.
yeah.
Remember when Google tried to come out with glasses?
Oh God.
Oh my God.
Or like we all thought the QR code was dead and now it's like
Everywhere.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Because of COVID, we had to have contactless everything.
Yeah, as a resurgence.
Yeah. So it's like something like that, something that was obsolete coming back up, or something that we thought was going to be the hottest thing ever. It literally doesn't matter anymore.
I think there's going to be a lot of on the fly, like
Yes.
changing on the fly, adapting on the fly, like because of necessity. I think
Yeah.
Virgo is very necessity.
Mhm.
And I also get the spiritual vibe because Saturn is in Pisces doing that opposition of almost like Christ turning over tables, being like, all right,
Yeah.
this is done. We're done. This is not going to happen.
Out with the old.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. Enough. This is, if I could label this eclipse, enough.
Oh, that's good. It's a
Yeah.
good theme. Yeah, I'm interested to see, especially because Virgo rules so much around health.
Yes.
And like you said, the second brain, our gut brain, what new trends or resurgencies are we going to see? I mean, even like going back to current events, this whole vaccine kind of discussion is coming back up because of RFK and his kind of anti-vax agenda. And, you know, people are debating that in real life, and children might die.
Have died.
And have died.
Of the measles.
Of the measles, yeah. And so it's like, what are we learning in terms of health outcomes and structure, system structure, Saturn, health, Virgo? Like, there's just a lot there.
Well, and especially you're highlighting the fact that this lunation is ruled by Mercury in its retrograde shadow.
There you go.
And so whatever we are learning or whatever is enough or whatever is being changed, that's like not the last time we're redlining it. Like we have more to edit. This is not the end. So I feel like I wrote in here things with a sequel.
Oh, yeah.
Or like something half done. Just something where it's like, okay, this is in early days.
Yeah, jotting it down.
Yeah, exactly. It's not the final plan. I just jotted it down.
But like, let me just write it down just in case.
Pencil it in.
Yes.
Yes.
It's in pencil though, just in case, because you can erase it.
We might erase it. No, we probably will. Or else we'd be doing it in pen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
I feel like things in this eclipse too are going to come with like a caveat or with a baggage or with an asterisk. Like there's going to be some like, here, do you want this new thing? And by the way, there's terms and conditions.
Right.
That's a really good point. So this could be really positive for people. There could be lots of new opportunities, but read the fine print. Anytime Mercury is in retrograde, you're reading the fine print. You are, and Virgo is so detail oriented and meticulous.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, do not miss the opportunity to ask, what's the catch? Go around and just have that phrase in your mind. Not because there's something bad or nefarious going on, but you just don't want to miss something.
Well, and also Mercury's in Aries, right? And so the ruler of the lunation is quincunx, or 150 degrees from the lunation. And that is a very awkward angle. Typically, I find with quincunxes, when one part of it is active, it's shutting down the other part. So when we're being, you know, Mercury and Aries, and we're direct and we're clear and we're confident and we're self-interested, we are shutting down that like adaptable, servant-hearted Virgo part of ourselves. And so I feel like there will be it's kind of like things not exactly working, like you don't know where to put your hands, or you know, if you've signed this contract, you're like, wait, I'm literally trying to find the signature page to send it back, but I don't know where it is. Just kind of this, okay, I'm going to leave it this way for now, but I know I'm going to have to come back to this because I'm not finished.
Oh, that's good.
I feel like the haze is such a good metaphor for that because it's not solid, right?
Yes.
And it is adaptable. It can blow away or it can get worse, but it's not solid.
And
Beautiful.
Mercury will go back into Pisces where Saturn is doing that opposing. And I think it's kind of like, hurry up and wait. Like maybe we're going to quit our jobs and with no plan.
Yeah. Oh, who's done that recently?
Yeah.
And then something
You had
will
a
come
plan.
in, but
Thinking
you had to
about
like
it.
let go of it before something new.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The release.
Speaking of
the
going back to
surrender.
what you were saying about the trust fall we didn't ask for, it's kind of like, are you just going to jump off the cliff knowing that the universe is going to catch you?
Right.
And it's not so much like trusting a rickety roller coaster ride, but it's having that faith.
Yeah.
That-
Like complete surrender.
Yeah.
I feel like it could be forced though, where like
Oh,
maybe,
yeah,
maybe
yeah.
there's an army
Totally.
chasing you and you're like, you come to a
Well,
cliff.
fuck,
and
I
you're
have
like,
nowhere else to
I'm
go.
gonna jump
Yeah.
or get killed by
I can't
them.
really
Exactly.
see into this gorge, but like, whatever. Like, hopefully there's water underneath. I don't know.
I love when in the tarot, again, since we're using that as a theme all the time, when Two of Swords, you know, two bad options, there's look for the divine third option.
Yeah.
So
Ooh.
that's how I read that usually. So yeah, maybe you're going to have to jump off the cliff, but maybe you'll get airlifted off in the nick of time.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Yo, and because so on the same day there is one other major aspect or one other transit, and it is the Sun in Pisces sextiling Uranus in Taurus. And so to me, that is a chance to get airlifted, or like mostly like to have a fairy godmother be like, boop.
Yeah. Boopity bobbity boop.
Yeah, now you're safe. Or like just some sort of escapism or some like getaway. I have on here a cool side quest.
Yeah.
I like that.
Maybe something's like absolutely chaotic, the eclipse, blah, blah, blah. But then there's like, oh, but here's an opportunity to meet your favorite artist. And
It
you're
makes
like,
it a
okay.
little less scary. Yeah. It's
Oh,
kind of like
definitely
more
less
approachable
scary.
that way.
Yes. distraction, like a positive distraction.
Yeah, like not an unhealthy one. It's good for you. It's meant
And
for your path.
because Uranus is connected to this
Mhm.
lunation, I feel like it might actually be, and obviously the sun is forming this lunation, but there might be like the same thing that's like messing you up is also now going to be responsible for you being in the right place at the right time. Maybe your tire blows and you're on the side of the road, and then the love of your life comes to help you fix it, but you've never met before. It's the first time.
Exactly.
Like, oh,
Yeah.
cool.
Kismet moments. Yeah. Look
Definitely.
for all of that. It's definitely subtle but potent for shaking things up in a
Yes.
gentle, supportive way.
I think it would be subtle. Maybe not the love of your life. Maybe just like your side piece.
Yeah. A casual fling. Yeah.
Or like
nourishing casual.
Nourishing.
yeah, or like a connection that then introduces you to the love of your life. You
Yes.
know, like
Leads from one
leads
thing
from
to
Yeah.
the domino
And
effect.
who knows? Maybe you have a beautiful friendship.
Yes, I like that. Speaking of things that might happen in retrospect, let us go to the top 3 transits so that we can talk about Mercury stationing retrograde. Before that, though, we need a break for a word from our sponsors.
It all began with a simple idea, cutting handles off old ski sticks to create better pull-up bars. This sparked the creation of the revolutionary Engels 90 handles. After testing over 70 prototypes with 300 athletes, our patented handles were launched in 2018. We continue to push the boundaries of strength training. Join us in making your training more natural and effective. Visit Engels90.com to learn more and revolutionize your workout.
At 25 Home, our ultimate goal is to provide you with a transformative experience, making each day feel like it has an extra hour. We believe your home is more than just a space, it's a sanctuary where comfort, relaxation, and happiness thrive. Discover the difference at 25 Home today. Shop now at 25home.com.
All right. So here are our top 3 transits of this next lunar cycle. Number 1, Mercury stations retrograde at 9 degrees Aries on Saturday, March 15th at 1:46 a.m.
So Aries is our cardinal fire sign ruled by Mars. It's the first sign represented by the ram and ruling the head, the eyes, the adrenals, and the blood. Gets our blood pumping. But this is not the only retrograde in Aries. We've got Venus retrograde there too. How are y'all feeling about them both stationing retrograde, like a degree from each other and just being right there, all cozy? Retrograde in Aries.
I'm a little nervous. Venus in Aries has been a little tense for some people.
A little hot and bothered.
Yeah. I've had some unpleasant encounters.
Pointed
encounters, a little bit of lashing out, maybe
temper tantrums.
Yeah, a tantrum is such a good way to describe it. Overreactivity, reacting on emotion. And it's definitely been a test for me because that's how I normally react. But
okay,
trying to be better.
Is it using it as a teacher then, a little bit of a mirror saying, oh.
Yeah, and that's truly what it is. It's coming from the perspective of every person is a reflection, is some sort of reflection of yourself, right? So, I can see parts of myself in that kind of behavior, but ultimately what good does it do for me to engage in that kind of behavior? But yeah, it kind of just feels like people wanting to start drama.
Very, very drama starting energy.
Yeah, for no reason.
Especially about old stuff.
Yeah. Oof. Yeah, old wounds.
I have in here temporary regression.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, great.
And like challenge to peace. So I feel like there's some of that vibe. I think it could also be something though where you could take a more youthful, like hey, I've got beginner's mind, or maybe I'm going to take a brand new look at something.
Right. There are positive aspects about this.
Yeah. I'm kind of excited about it because I don't know why. I'm like ready. I'm ready for a shakeup.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it's going to bring up things I need to see, need to deal with, need to address. I was like doing research about this particular aspect, and I would love for Rachel to talk about peregrine planets and like that whole dynamic. But one of the kind of thoughts that came to mind was because just Mercury in Aries can be so direct and intense, and Aries wants action. So people like get impatient. There's all of that, like, yes, miscommunication, just like every Mercury retrograde, but like there's a need to slow down, making decisions. With this peregrine situation, Mercury can be even more untethered than normal, like a little bit off the hinges. So my warning is like, don't charge into battle without a weapon. Like, make sure you are ready.
Be prepared.
Be prepared.
Yeah.
Because this is like, ready, aim, fire. Ready, fire, aim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, this should definitely come with a trigger warning. And okay, so Mercury's peregrine, but Venus is in her detriment.
Yes.
And I feel like this is being bad influences on each other.
Funny.
You know?
Okay.
Totally. Where if you,
When you said regression, so like maybe you're gonna knock your friend off the wagon.
well, no, for real though, like a little bit of immaturity.
Yeah.
But also a little bit of like when you get planets, which are usually fast. So Mercury's a fast planet. Venus is a little slower than Mercury, but also fast. And they're stationary retrograde in a very quick sign. It can be like getting a little itchy for some mischief.
Yeah.
Is what I feel with it. And Mercury and Aries, I think it'll be a bit easier where maybe you can just get to your point, be straightforward. It's going to more plain spoken to me when it's slow, but it could also be impatience with the pace of change.
That's probably
And
me.
It
Yeah.
could be like wanting to make a quick pivot and the pivot isn't as quick as you want. And that's frustrating. I think there'll be a lot of being irritated at the instant gratification you can't get,
Yeah.
but want.
It's like when you're walking behind someone who's walking at a slower pace than you,
Slow
Bro,
walker.
but you can't get
yes.
around them. And you're like, fuck, I
Yes.
guess I just have to stay here, like, and just power it out.
But you might cause some mischief behind them.
Yeah,
Just because
like-
give them like bunny ears.
Yeah. Or make faces, stick your tongue out at them, like, man.
Yeah, this reminds me of what little kids would do if they had to wait somewhere that they didn't want to wait.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like in the doctor's office,
And they get up to no good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Church pews, all of that.
Literally.
No,
Oh, yeah.
slow walkers are one of my biggest pet peeves, so that really hits home.
And keep in mind, too, the ruler of Aries, Mars, is direct, but it's still in Cancer, and it is related to these Aries planets by square. So to me, there's this extra like tantrum, angst kind of vibe
Yeah.
to this, or the caring a little bit too much, egos being too involved, like ego clashes, or people having sort of more emotional investment in something, which creates drama. And I have on here potential drama, and we started talking about drama like way before.
Way before this.
Yeah.
Totally getting.
It's already started.
I have in here getting crossways with somebody.
Yep.
I'm like,
Yeah. And it's
know-
like, do you walk away or do you engage?
Well, and
You know?
what might be happening exactly, Jordan, is you can choose to not engage. And in fact, this may be an opportunity to sit back and let your enemies take each other out. It's kind of like let other people duke it out, and just if you can rise above things, scores may be settled without you having to lift a finger.
Okay.
Because it's kind of like give them enough rope to hang themselves, they will.
eclipses are karmic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're karmic.
And to
Yeah.
be honest, it's kind of always worked out that way for me.
Yeah.
Like when I haven't engaged, like
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay, that took care of itself.
Yeah, I'm like obsessed right now with Mel Robbins' book, Let Them. And so I'm using that in every context.
Yeah.
So this is like, let them.
Yeah.
People are going to get hot-headed. They're going to make assumptions. They're going to judge. They're going to, exes are going to come back in a Venus retrograde. Like, you have no idea what people are going to do. Let them.
Mhm.
And then let me.
Yeah.
You get to decide how you handle it.
I have on here, though, that this transit could be really good for remembering who you are,
I love that.
redefining yourself if you want an identity shift. And then, big one to me, this is a great self-help moment.
Mm-hmm.
If you're somebody who reads Mel Robbins' books
Yeah.
or Brene Brown, like any of that personal development stuff, like this is the personal development transit on the highest end.
Yeah. And
of
growth
itself.
isn't always comfortable. So there's going to be uncomfortable. Like this is just sounds like it's probably going to be more uncomfortable than normal. But that comes with any sort of growth, right? Any sort of change.
I'm over here with natal Venus and Aries. I'm like, no, it's fun.
I was
Like, this
going
is
to
great.
say,
Yeah,
this,
so
join
fun.
me.
this is Rachel's home base.
She's thriving.
One of my favorite things she's ever said about Venus and Aries is intrusive desires. So like being
Oh.
subject to just like ooh, shiny object. Like that's cute. That's fun. Let me go chase that down. You don't have to, but sometimes just like fantasizing about a thing can scratch the itch.
Yeah. And it maybe can give you drive too.
It can give you drive and motivation.
Do something.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I have on here too that this is nice for planning to build back better.
Love that. We need that.
And getting past surface level. Because one thing that Mercury in Aries will do with its directness and its bluntness, especially if it has kind of a retrospective, is like it can ask really good questions.
Yeah.
Like piercing questions into something that has already happened to get clarity.
Ooh, get to the heart of the
Yeah.
matter.
And offer helpful
Yes.
critique. Like,
Yeah.
Helpful critique. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not personal. It's just kind of like, hey, I noticed you do this. Why don't you do it this way?
Yeah.
Oh,
Or
shit,
just
I never thought about that.
approach it with curiosity.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This transit reminds me of the football coach watching with the team, like watching the video back and being relentless with like the critiquing everything, but like we're all doing it because we love the game.
Right.
So watching yourself back and being like, all right, let me critique myself because I love the game.
Yeah.
That's so fun.
Yeah. So Mercury will be retrograde in Aries until it re-enters Pisces on the 29th of March. It'll be there in Pisces until the 16th of April. And then it will be in Aries direct, finishing its time out from April 16th to May 10th. So this is a long time for Mercury to be kind of in a zone.
Mm-hmm. All of March, basically.
Yeah. So everything that happens in March, just know that like late April, May, you're going to be finishing that up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you'll get a reprieve and it'll start moving forward.
Yeah. Because this is not the only thing in Aries.
No, we have the sun entering Aries on Thursday, March 20th at 4:01 a.m. Central Standard Time. Happy birthday, Aries babies.
Yes. Love Aries
Yay!
season.
Spring equinox.
Yes.
We all love a good vernal equinox. The sun is growing in light again.
Mhm.
Yes, we're happy about this.
And y'all, it is dignity in the sky.
Oh, yeah. This
Dignity
is
in
good.
the sky because the sun exalts in Aries and nothing else, like everything else, Saturn is peregrine in Pisces, Mercury's peregrine, nothing else has any dignity until Venus retrogrades back into Pisces.
Wow.
But finally, the sun will give us some resources to work with.
Yeah,
some
hibernation is
cash,
over.
Yep.
some
We can wake
prizes.
up.
We love the
Yes.
sun for, I mean, it's our great luminary, right? So she brings things out in the open. Well, it's a masculine luminary. We're thinking about leadership. We're thinking about positive change, moving forward, courage, just so many good, it'll be good starter energy.
Mm.
And obviously with the spring equinox, we're thinking about renewal and blooming and, seeds coming up out of the ground and germinating. So things you've been ruminating about, things that you've been planting and kind of manifesting, you're going to start to see some of that come to fruition.
Ooh,
New life
Yeah.
being breathed
New
into
life.
things.
exciting. But it might not happen fast. But it could.
Yeah, but we will have more activity. I have
Mhm.
in here that we'll be able to put more of ourselves into things.
Yeah.
And we'll be able to have, increased levels of activity, more energy, longer lasting social battery. And I started at the end. I was putting like joie de vivre, carpe diem, like all of these aphorisms. And I'm like, wait, well, they all apply. This is like
Yeah.
it's the most joyful thing that's happening in the sky at
Yeah.
this moment.
Let's be thankful for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it's going to join Mercury retrograde and Venus retrograde. So sun's not alone, but it's definitely going to bonify or help the situation over there. And I think it will give us the energy to make the changes that we've been talking about
Right.
Mhm.
and make it not so heavy
Mhm.
and seem not so much of a drag.
Yeah.
Because Aries does not want to drag.
No, it wants to go.
Mm-hmm. I have it in here too. Putting your whole self into whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my favorite astrologers, Kim White, keeps using the phrase with all these retrogrades, saying it with your chest.
Ooh, I love
Mm.
that.
And I feel like there's some like that kind of heart-centered, chest-oriented, like, no, I'm going to say it loud because I'm more and more sure.
Right.
Mhm.
The more energy comes into this place, the more I'm like, you know what? This is what I want.
And I'm going to do it. Yeah.
That's so Aries. Yeah. You have the belief in oneself to just say it with your chest. I think
Yeah.
can't be said any better.
I think we'll be using our forces of personality much more as well. Like people will be more charismatic,
Unabashedly yourself.
more
Yeah.
authentic.
Yeah.
And that's a good vibe. Everyone
is.
likes it. It feels real.
And it allows people to like when they see someone being their authentic selves, they want to be their authentic selves. It makes people more comfortable and like open around you, right?
Yeah, you're creating space
Right.
for others to
Yeah.
kind of share and
'Cause
do the
you're not
same.
shaming them for who they are. You're like allowing them to be.
It's a good coming out moment
Yeah.
in some ways.
Ooh.
You know, what do you need to come out about in
What is your
in your
truth?
life? What is your
Yeah.
truth? Whether it's just finally putting yourself first, starting, announcing the project you've been dreaming of, changing jobs, owning, claiming a space, all of those things.
Yeah.
Bold things.
Bold things.
That also have to, I think, feed into that personal development theme. There's
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot of the personal, right, with the sun, with Aries. I think a lot of self-actualizing. I also feel with the retrogrades that there will be a re-energizing of something. There will be sort of a resurgence or a relighting of a fire. All those words where it's like, no, I'm going to reorient. I'm going to, maybe feel young again, do something that makes me feel really vibrant. I think it's gonna be fun.
Yeah. It'll be good. It'll
I'm
be
excited.
a nice backdrop, like we said, to kind of the other transits.
Yeah.
But Mars is still in Cancer, so
Yeah.
there's definitely gonna be, some taking offense or causing offense.
Don't call me out like that.
Both. I have in here too, doing it but not being happy about it.
Yep.
People just going around with short fuses,
griping the whole time.
Oh my God. Mercury, Peregrine, and Aries with the Venus and with the Sun will be like griping about it, but getting it done very
Oh,
well.
yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
It's like the cartoons when they're like rats, they're
Yeah,
like
yeah,
mumbling,
yeah.
but they're still doing what they need to do, but they're
Yes.
pissed about it.
Yeah. But still like having the energy for all
Right.
that.
My teenager the other day was doing a deep organizational, much needed cleanup of her spaces in our house. And she looked at me and said, Mom, sometimes you just have to do things based on your discipline and not your motivation, because you're not always going to feel motivated, but you can rely on your discipline.
What a
Wow,
wise
that is
young
very
person.
profound. Yeah.
I was like, can I write that
Hold
down?
on. Yeah, wait a minute.
Yeah, you just like spoke to me. So this is a little bit like, do it because you're disciplined.
Yeah.
Not because you feel like
Because
it.
you know it's good for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There might be some out of the mouths of babes kind of things going on here too.
Yeah, Aries, young.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
totally.
That's beautiful. Wow.
I love that.
She was like, I didn't write it. I got it from a YouTuber. I'm like, hey.
But hey, it's
That
applicable.
YouTuber didn't write it either.
Yeah.
It still works.
Well, we will be on this Aries solar high until April 19th when Taurus season starts. So enjoy the spring. It's going to be, I think, the only nice weather here in Texas.
Yeah, it's going to be
Yep.
sprung.
For that,
Yeah.
that little bit of
The
time.
spring's going to be sprung. I love that.
Your data is like gold to hackers. They're selling your passwords, bank details, and private messages. McAfee helps stop them. Secure VPN keeps your online activity private. AI-powered text scam detector spots phishing attempts instantly. And with award-winning antivirus, you get top-tier hacker protection. Plus, you'll get up to $2 million in identity theft coverage, all for just $39.99 for your first year. Visit McAfee.com. Cancel anytime. Terms apply.
Imagine what's possible when learning doesn't get in the way of life. At Capella University, our game-changing FlexPath learning format lets you set your own deadlines so you can learn at a time and pace that works for you. It's an education you can tailor to your schedule. That means you don't have to put your life on hold to pursue your professional goals. Instead, enjoy learning your way and earn your degree without missing a beat. A different future is closer than you think with Capella University. Learn more at capella.edu.
And before that happens, our third transit will occur, and that is Venus retrograde re-entering Pisces on March 27th at 3:40 a.m. More dignity in the sky. And Pisces, of course, is our mutable water sign ruled by Jupiter, the last sign, represented by the dual fish, rules the ankles, the feet, and the lymphatic system. I think as of March 27th, having the sun in Aries and having Venus back in Pisces, we're just all going to feel so much better.
Yeah. Oh, can't
Thank
wait.
God.
Sigh of relief.
Now,
I literally
Venus,
feel it.
Venus will not be alone. She'll be literally running over Neptune. Like Neptune's going to enter Aries 3 days later. So she'll be right there with Neptune, the North Node, and Saturn. So it's like the big bad wolves over there. Like Rahu, Saturn, and Neptune are like very serious. But it's still kind of nice.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Definitely some stranger than fiction.
I was going to say, this is like, yeah, life imitating art, deja vu, all these things you have in here, paradigm shifts. I find I'm so fascinated with Neptune. It's my favorite planet. And I love how it makes everything feel dreamy, but it's also, that can be really frustrating when you want clarity, when you want decisions. Like having everything be nebulous all the time, we would literally not get anything done ever. So thank God we do have Saturn,
Right.
to create some structure. So this is like, yeah, falling in love, but within a container, maybe. Like
Right.
you're not going to go take it too far.
Right.
This also reminds me of like a princess coming back into her best castle, and then like it's been trashed because people threw a rager and they're all still drunk.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's Ken taking over Barbie Dreamhouse.
Yes. Yes. And so she gets back in there and she's like,
This is Mojo
Okay.
Dojo Casa
Yeah,
House now.
Wait a minute.
Yeah. What's going on in here?
Yeah. What did you do to my castle?
Speaking of old lovers,
Mhm.
they will be coming back. And it might be some really
Blech.
good old lovers. Like the best sex of your life guy comes back and you're like, oh. So you'll have to make that choice.
Okay.
You'll have to figure that out. Like
yeah.
I think with Venus coming back into Pisces too, after being in Aries, especially when she's connecting with Saturn, there'll be a lot of like, I don't want that.
Yeah.
Right.
So what do I want? And I
Mhm.
want more Pisces stuff. Venus wants Pisces more than Venus wants
Mhm.
Aries.
Yeah.
So after you're like,
Soul
all right, none
connection.
of that.
Mhm.
Now this.
Right.
Mhm.
Maybe ways to check in with your moral compass,
Yes.
reassess a little bit.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah. What do I actually want?
Right. Yeah.
What are your values? What do you like? What are you willing to put up with?
Mm-hmm.
And have those shifted
Mm-hmm.
for your
Questioning.
better or for your worse. Yeah.
Venus retrograde, one of my favorite astrologers and one of my teachers, Austin Coppock, he always associates questioning
Mm-hmm.
desires or beliefs with Venus retrograde
Oh, amazing.
until she stations direct. And that's more of like, okay, now I'm
Now
sure.
I know.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But just I'm not sure.
I don't
that
know,
Neptune stuff,
yeah.
I don't know.
The
What do I
level of
want?
openness. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you've been questioning something relationally for a while, you might actually get some clarity as of
Okay.
March 27th.
And I think that you'll get more clarity like once Venus stations direct on April 12th.
Oh,
then
yeah,
you'll be
yeah,
like, But I think
exactly,
you could be deep in the questioning, like in the hardcore part of it.
Yeah.
Which you're getting closer to being sure, but it could be, if you're choosing, say, to leave a Saturn long-term relationship,
Mm-hmm.
that's a really big deal. So it might
Right.
be kind of coming to terms, being able to
Oof.
accept that, move through
The
grief.
Yeah. Oof.
Venus
That's the
retrograde
hardest
in-
part. Yeah.
In Pisces will bring up grief because grief also speaks to love.
Yeah.
So that could be intense.
Yeah.
Spiritual journeys. I think there's going to be like some overcoming of doubt or some, especially because Jupiter is in Gemini. So Jupiter ruling Pisces, right? It's in its detriment still. And that could have us a little worried, or it could have us kind of fearful
Mm-hmm.
or a little overstimulated, discombobulated with Neptune.
Yeah.
What's
I'm
going
starting to
on?
like get a little, I'm thinking about all of the different ways this could play out.
Yeah.
For me personally, I'm like, oh
know.
God.
Well, it's also good for imagining better.
Yes.
Yeah. You're like, if I don't want this, if I
What
could
could-
want anything I want.
What could I have?
But don't be caught up in limerence.
Yo, I
don't
love that word. I've been using it
Do
since
it.
you taught it to me. For sure. I do think that this transit will be good for some of those kind of romantic, like, wishing on stars or hoping
Mhm.
against
Yeah,
hope.
It's okay to believe in magic a little bit.
I also have on here self-soothing. I think we're going to learn a little bit about, so when I'm experiencing grief, what do I do with that?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
when I'm not sure, how do I calm myself down amidst the chaos of everything that happens?
Yes.
I think that's such a gift to learn that we are our own everything. So
Yeah.
I am my own sovereign. I am my own mother. I am my own teacher. I am my own lover. And if it doesn't all come from me first, it can't be fully actualized externally. And, we can play out healing in relationships, but there's something to be said about, okay, what is my grief? How do I comfort myself? How do I go within versus just trying to, get someone to fill that need and like external.
Exactly. And it's going back to basically what Rachel said. What is grief without love? There's always that the love is the foundation of grief. Unfortunately, it doesn't feel like it usually when you're in grief.
Well, you can't. How can we appreciate joy and like love actualized if we don't have grief?
Right.
You need the high, you need the low in order to experience the high.
As above, so below.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Valleys make peaks.
Yeah.
Valleys make peaks. So
the valleys aren't as dark as you think. Always keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's
absolutely.
good.
The sun will change positions in the sky.
Yes.
And we'll see the sun again.
Yeah.
I mean, speaking of, we're looking outside. Literally, y'all.
It's a little gloomy.
It looks straight like fog, even though we know
we're
it's dust.
We're in Silent Hill right now.
It's
this is like what it
bizarre.
looks like. Yeah.
Yes, you're right. Oh my God, I forgot about that movie.
That movie is so creepy, but that's what it's making me think of.
It is
so
bizarre.
funny.
And that happened during this recording. How ecliptic.
Crazy.
How
Eclipsey.
Yeah.
I love it.
Ooh.
I love it.
At least we're not alone. We have each other.
Well, and we have, I think the synchronicities are already starting to pop out.
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
Always during eclipse cycles, we've got these weird kismet, synchronous kind of like.
We had one earlier with the photo shoot ending.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The photo shoot ended literally at 1:11, 1:11.
And somebody just texted me this morning and was like, "Oh my God, I texted you at 11:11." Like, nobody said that to me in a while. And they were asking if I did solar return readings. And for some reason on my roadshow this morning, I just decided to say, by the way, I do solar return readings. And that question came the same morning.
I love when that happens.
And that's the universe, like you
Synchronicities.
said, telling you more than once.
Telling you more than once. So pay attention. Patterns are important.
Right.
Don't be the person, like the universe doesn't want to beat you over the head with something or like tower card you out of it or rip the rug out from under you. But unfortunately, sometimes it's how we have to learn. So just learn the lesson. Like,
Yeah.
Do it the easy way, guys.
If you try to avoid it, you can't. It's going to find you no matter what. That's happened to me a few times already.
Yeah, because
So-
what are we here for on this? Why did we incarnate? It's
Right.
to learn and to grow.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and Virgo is an ace at pattern recognition.
Yes.
So you are, this is our
This is
theme.
on theme. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love this
enough.
conversation
Recognize
today.
the pattern.
Yeah, recognize it.
It is.
Be a
I
little autistic with it.
Right. No, this has been a really enlightening. I mean, I feel like every episode is for me, very enlightening, but this has been like a really cool episode just with like the weather patterns and everything going on. Like,
the bizarre, crazy.
yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's just like confirmation for me. I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
My sister's therapist / astrologer told her English is not her first language.
Mhm.
So she says things, and I love people who speak English without it being their first language because they'll come up with different ways of speaking
Right.
and interesting patterns of speech and word usage. She goes, how do I put this? There's no other way to say it. March is going to be explosive. And so I'm just like,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah.
Well, because our next lunation, so the next moon after this, is a new moon partial solar eclipse in Aries on March 29th, the day before Neptune
Yes.
enters Aries, which Neptune takes a long time. It spends 14-ish years in each sign. So this is a once in 14 years style movement. And that eclipse forms the eclipse window. They always come in pairs. But this is the last eclipse we have on the Aries Libra axis. And this started in October of 23, or when those eclipses really started. So think about kind of what Aries themed things that you were beginning in the fall of 23, and then know that this is going to bring either like a slamming the door shut or like taking you in one different direction.
Okay.
Aries eclipses are always, they redirect.
Keep in mind, Hamas invaded Israel on October 7th,
Yeah.
2023.
Associated with that.
Yep. So
Yep.
we're talking, there may be some conflict globally, relational conflict, could be a brand new start, fresh, like a clean slate. Yeah. It'll be interesting.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. So we will see you for
We'll see
that
you next time.
episode soon.
Thank y'all.
Bye, y'all.
Thank you.
Bye.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.